and it keeps taking me higher. It's the little things that keep me going.
Hello, beautiful people. I'm Rye.
And I'm Rye. Welcome back to the Little Things Podcast, episode number 2, where we discuss the little things.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about something that is very easy for, I'll speak for myself, me to talk about.
Me as well.
Because we're talking about getting hurt. And I've been hurt a lot. There's like this phenomenon that happens with me. I don't know if it happens with anyone else, so I'm just going to pretend that I'm special. But I have bruises constantly from stuff that, like, there's no reason that I should be bruised.
I can attest to that.
I know that I'm very pale and I bruise very easily, but like sometimes the level of injury that I will have on myself, there's no explanation for.
None.
You would have to have like hit something with enough velocity to really like, it's like deep purple, horrible bruises where they like turn green. You know what I'm saying? When they heal. And I have no recollection of hurting myself. But of course, that doesn't make a very good story. So we have some stories of really getting hurt for real that we want to share with you guys.
Yes, we do.
So first of all, ironically, my first story is about a bruise that was for a very long time in my life unexplainable. Inexplicable. There was no reason for it. And I found out like maybe 10 years ago what it was. So I have this big bruise on my left calf. Like when I put, if I were to like sit cross-legged, if you look at my left calf, there's like, now it's pretty faded, but you can still see it. It's blue and then there's like a little bit of purple in the middle of it. And I've had it since I was a kid and I had no idea what it was. It used to be pretty sensitive when I would touch it.
Like you had it since you were a baby or?
Well, yeah, I mean, I had it for as long as I could remember, and I didn't know when I had gotten it. I'm not very, I don't pay attention to myself very much. I'm one of those people that's like, oh, I have, I'm bleeding a little bit, whatever. I don't take good inventory of myself. So I would, I would kind of see it, and then I would be like, whatever. And I would forget about it. And then I would see it again, maybe a year later.
We should probably work on that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing better, to be fair, but
it's
certainly a tendency I have to just kind of like shrug stuff off, like be indifferent about stuff that just aren't very important to me. That doesn't mean they're not important.
Yikes.
Things that I think aren't important. So this was one of those things I would just kind of brush it off, whatever. And it did start to fade, so I figured, it would just go away, but it would just never go away, and it would still be kind of tender, like right where the purple was in the middle. And I didn't find out until it was probably 10 years ago-ish, but I've had that since the day I was born. You know how when you're born and, you're a newborn baby, they take like your blood pressure in the hospital on your leg?
Yeah.
I don't know if they still do it that way. I'm not a pediatric. I was going to say pediatric surgeon. I don't even know what they're called. Who delivers babies? Doctors. Gynecologists?
Baby deliverer.
I'm not one of those. So somebody correct me. Whatever it is.
I just did.
Thank you. That baby deliverers.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those. So I don't know what the terminology is, which is the theme of my life. But, they take your blood pressure on your leg. And I guess
did it too tight? They
did it too tight and bruised my calf. I did not sue them.
Let's sue them now. Get that money.
I think it's too late. Like statute of limitations. Hey. I'll be 26 in May. I'm pretty sure it's over.
You never know till you try.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I'm not very litigious. I'm too nervous to sue anybody.
Means.
It means I'm not going to sue you.
Oh.
Litigious people are like, you put a rock on my property, I'm going to sue you.
Oh yeah,
they love to sue.
I know this. I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. You have people like that in your life.
Sure.
For sure.
Sure.
Well, I'm not like that, and I'm way too nervous.
Words every day.
To try. We should get those word of the day toilet papers because I really think it would help.
Wait, so like, because I've never seen these before. Do they have like one word on each piece, like each section of the toilet paper?
I'm gonna pretend like I've seen them before, and I'm gonna say absolutely yes.
Dude, I'd go. I'd learn like all the words in the English language in like a week.
For sure. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
It's for learning.
I use way too much toilet paper. That's not what we're talking
about. Okay, no. We actually have to talk about this husband to wife, and we'll just do it on the podcast.
Cool.
We need better toilet paper because the
the one we just got is it's
yes.
Like, we got from Costco.
Yes, we went to Costco this week or last week, whenever.
Yeah, whenever it was. But it's like it's really thin now. So it's not thick. Like each piece is really thin, but the roll is huge.
Really big. Because I was like, so I don't remember where we were. I went to the bathroom somewhere that we went. Maybe it was a restaurant or something. And their toilet paper was really thick and really nice. And I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This toilet paper is sick. I need to tell Ryan that we need to buy this for the house. Because ours was like, it was like if you took a Kleenex and then ripped it in half.
Yeah.
It was just so thin. I need to use so much.
I was trying to save money,
No, I know.
Stuff at Costco because it's already really expensive at Costco because we're buying in bulk.
Oh my God, it is.
But we just need to get it from Safeway because that's what we've been getting previously, and that stuff is good.
That stuff is that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, fair enough. It's like an experiment, but I just remembered I was going to tell you this toilet paper is way too thin. We can't do this again.
In case you're wondering, this is what it's like to have a conversation with us. We're talking about injuries, and somehow that leads to litigious people.
Sure.
Which leads to words that I don't know, which leads to toilet rolls.
Sure.
With the words of the day.
It makes total sense.
And now we're talking about using toilet paper on the
But here's the thing, because
you're welcome.
I found out that I could have technically sued when I turned 18 if I still had like a visible bruise, which I totally did.
Bro.
Again, just the thought of like even saying I want to sue someone, I'm gonna have an anxiety attack.
You're extremely non-confrontational.
Oh my God. To like I know it's like a character flaw, like to an unhealthy degree.
Yeah.
I will not say anything.
Actually, not to throw you under the bus, but
I mean,
there's been several times where somebody has bumped into you while walking on the sidewalk, and you will be the one to apologize to them.
Now, in my defense, I think that's a white people thing. I'm just gonna put that out there. Have you seen that video? I don't remember who it is. There's a guy on Instagram. We'll put the something on our social media to this video.
Yeah.
It's at the Little Things podcast. I will link it so you can see it. I don't remember what his name is now, but he is like white people walking down the street and you just bump into people and you're like, oh, sorry.
Trey Kennedy?
It's Trey Kennedy. Yes, it's a really funny video, but it's so true. Like, you know, the stereotype of the, you know, nice, polite, middle-class white people.
Yeah.
They're saying sorry all the time.
I don't know what kind of white people you're talking about in Phoenix. I never met.
Well, Phoenix is not a good example. That just made me think of that video.
Like Canada.
Yeah, it's like maybe a Canadian thing.
Canadian stereotype.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been there.
I mean,
they could be the meanest people on the planet.
We have no idea. We only have movies and television.
Yeah, which explicitly tell us that they're the former.
Yeah, exactly. So I tend to believe the internet. But here's the thing. Because of that, I did not want to do that. Like, I'm serious. Even the thought of it, like, I was getting hives.
By do that, you mean sue?
Yes, I did not want to sue. So it's also possible that I made all of this up because I don't remember like a conversation. It's one of those things, you know, that you just have this thing that happened that I know happened, but I have no idea how I know it. I know I still have the bruise there. I remember, I think it was my parents that told me, but like it wasn't like a sit down conversation. You know how it is with family. Like it wasn't like they were like, hey, I'm saying like a lot. I apologize. They told me, you know, hey, this is the bruise that you have and this is why and this is what your options are. That's not really how families talk. Maybe that's just my family. It was more just in passing. Oh, yeah, this happened. I would get little hints of information here and there that I've sort of put together to create this story. So it is possible that it's false, but I truly believe that it is true. The hospital in Wisconsin, that's where I was born, bruised me when they were taking my blood pressure as a baby. Do they even do that? This could all be falling apart. But I like the story.
Yeah, no, I
So I'm
think
gonna
that's
stick with
accurate.
Yeah.
I think I've seen like TV shows.
Again, that is where 90% of our information comes from on everything. And it's all true.
And TV, you know that all TV is true.
It's all 100% accurate in every way.
How did we get here?
Well, that's my first story, is just my recurring injury. It's still there. I mean, you have to look pretty close, but you can still see it. But what about you? Because I know that you have a story of a pretty bad injury.
Yeah, it's very similar. Well, not very similar, but am I the only one who has explicit? I'm saying explicit a lot. I guess that's like my day of the word.
Yeah, it's
my
a
day of the word.
day
My word of the
of
day.
the word.
Wow. Okay.
That'll be a segment.
Day of the word.
Day of the
Oh,
word.
we can make a little jingle.
I just did. Day of the word. No.
Oh, is
Not the
that too
end.
long?
No, yeah, we can do it.
Okay.
It'll be really good, I swear.
All right. Anyways, I don't know if I'm the only one who has memories, like very clear memories of an event, but
Yeah.
because it's been so long and because you've told the story so many times and because you've heard the story so many
Right.
times, you don't know if everything you remember is reality, if it actually happened.
80% of my childhood, for real.
Cool. So I'm not alone. So
No.
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad, if you guys are watching or listening, you can correct me
Yeah, on
or tell me
mine.
I'm right.
Mine too for my thing. Somebody help me.
Well, I remember. So my best friend growing up, we went to church together, and I think it was the summertime, and my whole family was over at his house. I believe it was like a birthday party or something.
Yeah.
And they had a pool outside. You know, they got a basketball hoop, so you know you jump off the diving board and dunk the basketball in the hoop and everything.
Yeah. I had a family friend with a pool.
Yeah.
That had we never had a pool growing up, but so anytime I went to a friend's and they had a pool, especially with the basketball thing, I was like, oh, these guys are so cool. They got the pool, and
it was so much fun.
it was,
like
yeah,
you got to like show how manly you were. You know, like doing flips and then dunks and
same.
like alley oops and all this stuff.
Oh yeah,
Well, I remember I was in the pool by myself. Everybody was still outside, so it's not like I was out in the pool by myself.
right.
Everybody was outside sitting on the patio on like a table out there. And I remember doing this dunk. I don't remember if it was a cool dunk or just like a regular one-handed slam, but I did it. And as soon as I hit the water, the whole basketball hoop fell on top of me.
Oh jeez.
And like it's like a full-size basketball hoop that was just, lowered basically.
Right.
And it was one of those that the base was like filled up with water so that it doesn't tip over.
Oh, okay.
Well, when I dunked, I guess I either dunked too hard or held on too long, and the whole thing fell on top of me.
Oh my gosh.
And it fell. The rim hit the back of my head, and to this day, it's still really sensitive to the touch.
Is it really?
Yeah. I remember kind of not being able to move after that.
Yeah.
And I also remember blood being in the water.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate, but
Right.
that's what I remember. So that's
Right.
what I'm sharing with you today.
Maybe because that's what people told you.
Yeah,
Sometimes your
could be.
memories are like
Exactly.
informed by what other people tell you.
And I mean, I was really young. Like I don't even know if my little brother was born yet.
No way, really? So you were that young? You would have been like 4.
Yeah. No. Okay. No. Yeah. I
Maybe
was
he was a
probably
baby.
6.
Okay.
Yeah. He's probably 2 or 3.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember that happening, and I was just kind of floating in the pool, and then I remember everybody rushing over and like screaming and like
Yeah.
all this stuff. Wow. Now after explaining that story, I remember another story where I hit my head.
Really, lots of
That
head hitting.
explains a lot. Wow.
You're like, I tend to just like think a lot, and I didn't know why.
Wow. That makes
Yeah.
because so that happened, and then there's this one time my family took it was like a little mini vacation to Flagstaff.
Okay.
we did that quite a few times as a family. Just get out of the heat, rent,
Yeah.
get in a hotel room for a couple of nights.
That's nice.
Well, I remember doing that, and me and my brother were playing in the living room. I remember my parents coming out several times being like, boys, stop it.
Stop
You're going
running.
to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt yourself. Stop. Calm down.
I remember this story. Oh,
And-
gosh.
And, so we like calm down for a second, and then they go back into their room and we start playing. Poke that up. Rylan, Channing, stop. You guys are going to.
Because you were running.
Oh,
so
yeah.
there's a coffee table and
We're-
you're running around it.
Jen and I, we had so much fun growing up together, just like doing we were just crazy.
Yeah.
We just run in circles and
Right.
we'd do parkour. So we'd
Oh, yeah.
in the hotel room we would pretend
Parkour.
like, the floor is lava, so we can't step on the floor. So we'd
Yeah.
do flips and stuff and jumping on tables and everything. Well,
Now, wait, before you go to the rest of your story,
Yeah.
you said the floor is lava, and I just want to tell everyone this is not an ad, but you need to get Apple Arcade immediately
Lava.
and play the game Hot Lava because it is awesome and you'll have the most fun you've ever had in your life.
and it's amazing, and we'll have something in common, which
Yeah.
we all know that's something that you want. I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
we're like pretty cool. You know what I'm
We're
saying?
super cool and we should be friends, and that is the way that we will be friends.
Oh yeah, through hot lava.
Not a sponsor, but we could be. Anyway, continue with running.
I remember, we're just having fun, being stupid and crazy, and I ended up falling and hitting the back of my head
No.
on the corner of the coffee table.
Oh my gosh.
And that I know blood went everywhere
Definitely
after
blood.
that one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I'm pretty sure that was like the first night
That you were there.
that we were in
Of
Flagstaff.
course, it
So
happened
I
immediately.
completely ruined this staycation
Yeah.
or mini vacation.
Because you just wouldn't stop running.
Yeah, and I got blood all over the place. But to cheer me up, my little brother and my dad went to Walgreens, I want to say,
Ooh.
and they got me this little Beanie Baby.
Aww.
It's a little beagle. I still have it. I still have him today. He's over there somewhere.
Really?
At my desk.
That's what that's from?
Yeah.
I totally know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Now, you didn't get stitches on either one of these?
Nope.
Did you even go to the hospital?
Nope.
Wow. So you were technically fine? Did you have a concussion? You don't even know because you didn't
I don't
go
know.
to the doctor.
There's a lot of I've been injured a lot,
Yeah.
but I've only been in the hospital one time, and I can talk about that later.
Well, I'm not going to judge you not going to the hospital because I've also never been to the hospital, and there were incidents that I feel like I probably should have gone to the hospital. At least now.
Let me just ask you this real quick.
Yeah.
Because my dad is my dad's super tough and super macho. He's got his own AC and heating
Yeah.
company, so he's lifting AC units on his shoulder and
Yeah.
climbing up backwards up on a rooftop, stuff that nobody should ever do.
Right.
So because of that, I feel like there were some times when I probably did need medical attention, but it was just slap some
Just-
duct tape on it. Duct tape's all you
Alright.
need. You can fix everything with duct tape.
Rub some dirt in it. Yeah. Well, well, it's funny because I feel like that's probably the opposite for my family because
Ooh.
we like to really wallow a little bit. You know what I mean?
True.
We kind of like to be sick or hurt because it just, it feels good to maybe have the attention or have something that, is an explanation for why you're kind of you can be kind of fussy. You have
yeah.
justification to sort of do what you want. And so I feel like it's maybe a little bit of the opposite. Anytime I remember there were days where I would stay home sick from school and I really felt like I was sick. I wasn't lying. I was never lying saying I was sick when I wasn't sick. However, there was probably a mental exaggeration that was happening. I didn't have a fever. There was nothing that was really wrong with me. I just
Yeah.
felt sick. Oh, I'm sick today. So I think that is definitely a pattern.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. However, there was a time I also got something that fell on my head. actually multiple times. So I didn't have a sibling. Growing up, I have a sibling now. She'll be 8 in the upcoming weeks. Or she just turned 8, actually.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. But until I was 17, I didn't have...
I was at her second birthday.
Yeah. You knew her since then. Since before then,
Since
but...
before. Oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
Her whole life. And Reagan is obsessed with Rylan. Like, she loves Rylan more than me. It's a different kind of love, but
That's pushing it.
it's pushing it. But she loves you.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. It's the best thing ever. They're my 2 favorite people in the world, and like the fact that they love each other so much. Like, she will just, and if I show up now, I'm not enough. It has to be you two. Where's Rylan? Well, why isn't Rylan here? I don't understand. I'm not enough. It has to be you, which is nice. I mean,
No, it is.
it's a good thing. But so growing up though, I didn't have a sibling. It was just me, and I did spend a lot of time alone, which always sounds sad, but it was not. I was an only child, but I had a lot of fun by myself. Truly, like, I had imaginary friends.
Yeah, that's all you need. You just need a healthy imagination.
And I had the best
Good.
one. I had such a good imagination. I was in music videos. I was in hidden castles. Anytime I was in water, I was definitely a mermaid. And there was a mer kingdom with lots of mermen and merwomen. And there was storylines. Like, I didn't need anybody else to have a good time. And so I also really liked video games and movies. I spent a lot of time watching TV and movies, which I do have an obsessive personality, as Rylan can attest to. That is something that I struggle with, is when there's something I like, I only like that, and I only talk about that thing, and I just cling to that thing because I just love it so much. And TV especially, but movies and TV and video games, that's something that I do that with, and I think it's because that's something I did a lot growing up when I was by myself. My parents worked at a church where I would come there after school, or in summer I would always kind of be there, and it was a campus that was pretty secure, so they would have an office and I could go to a few different places on that campus. So there was like a big green grassy area, there was a playground, there was a couple buildings that I could go into, and several of those buildings had TVs that I could watch. So there were a lot of times when I was just in a room somewhere watching something or playing something, or getting out all the kids' toys from the kids' ministry rooms, and that's what I spent my time doing. So there have been multiple instances where I would sit watching the TV, and this is at this point they're the old TVs. They're not like smart TVs. They're the ones with the rolly carts. And then it has the... Oh, yeah. What are the older TVs called? Where they're like 3D. They're not thin.
Like a big cube.
Yeah. The big TVs, like old-fashioned TVs, stuck on like a tall rolling cart. And then it had like a DVD player or something at the bottom. Sometimes even a VCR. VHS. Yeah. Where I would watch my old Disney movies. I love those, but I won't go into that. So... there have been multiple times where that entire cart and the TV have fallen on top of me. And I wish that I could give you specific instances. Again, this is probably mostly from what people have told me, because I was pretty young. So we moved. The whole cart? And the TV? So the TV hit my head.
Sweet.
And the entire cart fell forward for the TV. So I don't even know. I was sitting, so I would kind of just collapse onto myself when that would happen, and try to protect the top of my head.
Where were your parents?
In the office. They were in their office, and I was in the room, in like a kid's room.
Now, you said this happened multiple times?
It happened multiple times. I'm pretty sure it wasn't more than 2, but it was definitely more than once that this happened. And logically, I have to assume I was doing something wrong. I must have been pulling on the TV, because there's no way it just falls on you with no explanation.
No, yeah, absolutely.
But I know the first time I was pretty young, we moved to Arizona when I was 6, and that's when my parents started this job. So I was probably, 6 or 7 when this happened. So about the same age as you. But yeah, so I don't remember anything from it, which is good. I do remember one of the
Yeah, because you
TVs
got a
falling.
concussion because the TV fell on your face.
Yeah, it happened multiple times. Now, I do have one more thing that actually reminds me that happened at that same church. The very first Sunday service. So my parents got a job there. I think it was worship pastors and youth pastors. And the very first service they ever had there. So this is a new town. This is totally new people. We don't know anybody here. We don't know even where anything is. This is a new state. So again, I'm 6. I'm going to the bathroom and I get my pinky, the door, like the door jamb. So not where the door closes, but where the hinges are. The door completely closed the other way with my pinky inside of it. Don't get sick. And I just remember crying, of course. And my mom saw me crying, saw my finger that was pinched, and she basically just starts screaming hysterically. I do get some of my anxiety and panic from my mother. So she's in full-blown panic mode at this point. She picks me up and starts running to the parking lot to go find the hospital, to go drive to the hospital. The Sunday service is starting. This is their first day on the job, basically, where they have to start worship. And she's in the parking lot holding me, screaming and crying, going to the hospital. She then realizes she has no idea where the hospital is because this is a brand new place. So she's trying to find someone to take her to the hospital because my finger is going to fall off. And if we don't get to the hospital, I'm going to lose a pinky in the first day. Now, I remember it hurting really badly and I remember crying, but I still have my pinky and we didn't go to the hospital. So I'm not sure what happened after that, but I think I was fine. I'm pretty sure some people around were trying to calm her down. Oh, I remember there was a family there where the husband was a doctor. So he was there. He looked at my finger. He said, it's totally fine. It does hurt, but she didn't break anything or fracture anything. She's fine. But I do feel like a lot of my injuries have happened on church campuses because that's where I grew up. So that's where I was.
Explain that I'm very squeamish.
Yeah.
So it's not like I always think when I think, oh my goodness, my flashlight just turned on.
Did you just completely
Yes,
flash yourself in the eye?
When I think of squeamish, I always think of what's that movie? Get Smart.
Yeah.
With that guy who's like, oh man, I don't remember exactly what was happening, but one of the spies was like gonna basically stage a fight. And so the guy goes to punch him, and the other guy who's like a tech analyst or something, he's like, okay, but don't actually hit me because I'm so afraid of getting hit. He's like, okay, no, it's fine. I'm just gonna fake, and you're gonna come along with it to make sure it looks real for the camera. And he's like, okay, but like, is there gonna be any blood? Because I freak out anytime I think about blood, and if I see blood, and then he just like fainted. Yeah. And so I'm not quite to that level, but inexplicably, there are some things that will just make me lose my stomach.
Yes.
Sometimes really bloody injuries will do it. Other times it's just hearing about any injury.
Kind of injury.
Yeah. It sounds really pathetic, but The Dark Knight Rises, I went to see that in theaters the night it came out. You know what? I think actually, oh my goodness, my dad and I actually did that trilogy. They did like this whole event where it was like you came in at 10 a.m. and they played Batman Begins, followed by The Dark Knight, followed by The Dark Knight Rises.
I've never done one of those. Yeah, I would love to do that.
It was so cool. It was just me and my dad. In that movie, there's a scene where it's very true to the comics. Bane breaks Batman's back.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh.
And obviously, it's a movie, so it's not real. Like nobody actually got their back broken. I didn't see any bone. You didn't see any, but the way that they put the audio,
the sound effects.
It
those guys
got
are
to me.
geniuses.
And so that happened, and I literally was about to faint. And so I like got up out of my seat. I didn't even say anything to my dad. I was just like, I just like sprinted to the bathroom. I like took my shirt off and like splashed cold water all over my face. Like,
oh my
and
God.
I get that way anytime I like go to a doctor's office. The last time went to the doctor's office and got my blood taken.
Yeah.
And I don't do needles.
Can't even.
No, that's not. I draw the line there.
I get really anxious.
No
about that.
needles.
Yeah.
And so, I think it was before they drew my blood. I kind of freaked out, and so I went to the bathroom, took off my shirt, and laid on the tile floor in the bathroom. It's disgusting.
Yeah. No.
And I was laying face first, shirtless, on the tile,
in
like
a
right in front of the
bathroom.
toilet.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to do. You had one of those moments. We went to go see that movie with Blake Lively. The shark movie, The Shallow.
Shallows.
Yes, where she's getting chased by this big shark and she gets injured. And
She
remember
gets injured. The shark freaking rips a chunk of her leg out.
Well, I didn't want to say that.
Why?
I didn't want to. The way that they portray it was pretty. It was and that's what the thing. It was unexpected. Like you weren't expecting to see that at that moment, and so then I think.
And it was.
I just saw him leave, and I didn't know about this problem as well. Then it was a couple years ago.
I didn't either.
Yeah, we couldn't quantify what it was. It was just because there was really no rhyme or reason for it, and there still isn't. It's just if random. It hits you, it's like okay, I have to go to the bathroom. You've never fainted or anything.
Nope.
Which is good. Fainted. You've never actually fainted, but just feel like you're going to.
Yeah, I get weak. Like I have no strength in my hands. I can't hold anything. I'm just.
Yeah. Which now I am very grateful that we've never broken bones. Because I think that.
I probably would faint if I broke a bone.
We have talked about that if something were to happen, we think that if something like a crazy accident were to happen, we were like seriously in trouble, something broke, we were bleeding out or something, you would probably faint.
Yep.
And if nobody else was there, you would die.
Oh, yeah.
Because you would just bleed out.
I would just bleed out, yeah.
Because you would have fainted.
Totally.
And me, I think that I wouldn't even register the pain in the moment. Of course, there's no way to know for sure, but I really feel like I sometimes feel like a vampire. If you've ever watched Vampire Diaries, that's how I feel sometimes, where I can just like turn off my emotions. It's probably like a genetic sociopath thing. I'm not sure, but I can. Yikes. I know that sounds terrible, but like I can. Not really sociopath, but I can detach from reality if I need to. So I feel like I could turn that off and just be in the moment and do what I needed to do, and then it would make me sick later. And the reason that I think that is because I'm like that with getting nervous with any kind of performance. I am not nervous when we start. That's changing as I'm getting older, but growing up, like leading up to the performance and doing it, even if it was in front of a lot of people, I would not get nervous. I was never nervous. I was nervous after I did it. It was like the adrenaline would kind of rush in or stop. Yeah, maybe stop after. And then I would get shaky, and then I would replay everything, and I would feel nervous in retrospect.
Interesting.
So I feel like it would probably be the same thing in a panic kind of situation, like a life or death situation. I think I could take care of it and handle it, and then later. So I actually think if we were together, that would be helpful, because I could step in and help in that moment if you were feeling sick, and then once it was done, we could. Well, yeah. I'd figure it out. I could track you. If I got some weight on me, I could just kind of lean back with my whole body weight. I could probably get you there.
I don't know. I'm deceptively heavy.
But then we could switch, is what I'm saying. And then in the second phase, we could switch, and I could freak out, and and you would kind of take the reins from there. So I think we make a good team.
Yeah, I just got to get over that minor possibility of like fainting. But once I'm over that,
if you're by yourself.
Yeah,
I do think your instincts to live would kick in, though. That's what I hope. That you would know, so okay, too. I'm not allowed to faint in this moment, or I will die because there's nobody.
Yeah. As long as I have access to like cold water.
Yeah.
I just need to keep just keep a cold water bottle
and take your shirt off.
Yeah, and lay face first on the ground. Face
down on the floor. Now, we have one more story for you, but before we continue, we would love to encourage you to listen to this podcast on Anchor.
Through Anchor, you can leave us voicemails that we can actually play during the episodes of this podcast. You can also submit questions and give us ideas, etc.
And if you love the podcast and want to see it grow in quality, there's an option to support us directly through Anchor as well.
Now, this isn't an ad. We truly just love Anchor and find it to be a superior podcast distributor.
Yes, and you can download the Anchor app on Google Play or the App Store, or go to anchor.fm and search for us, the Little Things Podcast, to start listening and send us a message. Okay, so we've made it clear that all my injuries, the majority of my injuries, happen on church campus. I have not even scratched the surface of all the injuries I've gotten, and they've all been at a church, because literally, you know, that's where my parents were.
Church is a dangerous place.
No, especially when you're a kid who has a big imagination / just wants to find something to do, and you just really get in trouble with this. I had a skirt on. I was like full out playing soccer. It's one of those like old, you know, this is like from the early 2000s. So it's almost kind of like a jean skirt where it goes to like right above my knee. And I decide,
Scandalous.
I know, it was
breaking the
very
rules, girl.
scandalous.
Yeah.
No, it was pretty much at my knee. And
You know, at my school, you wear any skirts that go above the knee?
yeah,
Mm-mm.
it was 2
Detention.
inches. 2 inches at my school. It was 2 inches above the knee.
I don't actually remember what it was. I think it was something like that.
Probably because the boys didn't have that many like clothing things.
We actually did have a lot of clothing.
What did you have?
Yeah.
Because I'm always curious about that. Because at my school, like the boys didn't have anything.
Really? Yeah.
It was
like,
always the girls.
We weren't allowed to, like, our shirts weren't allowed to be too baggy. It was
Really?
like if they're too big, you can't wear it.
What?
Yeah. And we had to wear specific pants, like from I believe the store is called Dennis.
You
From
guys
the
had
Dennis store-
uniforms.
Yeah, we had uniforms.
That's right. Okay, we didn't.
So it was like,
we didn't have that.
wearing cargo shorts, go change. And they'd like keep like a big bin of like extra clothes.
No, are you
So like if you
serious?
got sent to the principal's office wearing something you shouldn't be wearing,
You had to go
they're
in
like,
the bin.
you got to go take something out of the bin
Oh, no.
and put it on.
I would not like that.
Yeah.
We didn't have a bin. You had to
Yeah.
go home, or you had to call your parents begging, like, "Can you please come give me something? Because they won't let me wear this."
That'd be better than wearing some. I mean, who knows what's in that bin?
Yeah, I mean, better for me, but not better for, like, you know, one of my parents that was like,
Oh, yeah, totally.
forced. We did not
Yeah.
live close. Same for
Right,
you.
yeah.
We lived like 40 minutes away, so
Yeah.
that was not fun for anyone.
That's true.
It was very long. But yeah, it was like 2 inches. It was like 2 fingers for the straps, and then
Yeah, yeah.
2 inches above the knee. It was like, however they did that.
Yeah,
they measured that.
sounds
So stupid.
Did they actually have like a measuring stick?
Oh
that they
yeah.
would use?
Now I don't remember,
remember,
ever
like-
having to do that.
Oh, I remember they would
But-
come. There would be a teacher that would come in the classrooms with this big like yardstick
Really?
and would have all the girls stand up, and he would go and measure.
He?
Yeah.
No. This
Yeah.
is everything about this is
Oh, yeah.
completely wrong.
The teacher comes in the classroom, it's completely silent. He doesn't say anything, and he's just holding the yardstick, and you're like, oh my god,
No.
this is where
This
my
is
life ends.
horrible. School, too much authority that's happening
Yep.
there. That should not be okay.
Yep.
But anyway, there's a ball in front of me. I decide to kick it as hard as I could. And so it's like a cartoon character or like a movie where, you know, I kicked my leg up so hard, but I'm wearing a skirt that was not flexible. So my other leg had no choice but to meet it mid-air because there's no more
Yep.
flexibility. So my skirt pulls my other leg up and I fall with both my legs up on my tailbone, on like the concrete of this courtyard.
You're playing soccer in a courtyard. I'm sorry, I missed
Yes,
that.
in a skirt with big, huge poles of ceramic in concrete.
We gotta talk to the people who was in charge.
I was
That's-
just a maniac doing all kinds of stuff.
yeah, but I mean, it wasn't your idea to play to have the kids play soccer on the concrete.
I mean, I think the kids just kind of, we ruled that campus, I think.
okay.
We did whatever we wanted. Because, you know, after church,
I was trying to shift the blame from you.
yeah,
and
I
you're-
mean,
you're fighting me on. I mean,
we
I
can
was
still
just trying
we
to
can
help.
still blame them because you know how parents like talk. If you've gone to church, they talk forever after church. Like after church is the time where they just catch up on all their little blabby thingies.
Yep.
And so they would just talk. Like if you're a kid, you're just sitting there.
They're
for
kind of
hours.
They're kind of like procrastinating. Like,
Yes, they don't want to go
oh,
home.
please keep talking to me. I don't want to go home with my kid right
with
now.
the kids. So they're like encouraging you,
Yeah.
like, please go play and
Yeah.
burn off steam so that you
Yep.
can nap when we get home.
Mhm.
It was kind of like that, which is, I mean, I kind of get it.
Well, I think my last story is gonna top every single story that we've told.
Really?
Yeah, about injuries today.
Heck yeah.
So, okay, I'm gonna summarize it. I will go into details, but
Okay.
just to give you a little taste, I'm gonna summarize it into 3 words:
All right.
Foursquare,
Okay.
the game;
Yeah.
rock,
Oh.
like a rock; and stitches. Fun, right? Yeah, your
I'm
mind,
not-
your mind going to real good, like positive places, right?
I'm not gonna pass out. I don't feel like I'm gonna pass out, but my stomach will turn sometimes
Yeah.
with stuff. So I'm just gonna be like squirming a little bit,
Cool.
just
Well,
to kind of feel
let's
normal.
Let's just dive right into this.
Great.
And explain what
Great,
happened.
I'm ready.
So
Let's do it.
I'm in 6th grade, right? So
Yeah.
this is like what, 11, 12 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah. At
Ish.
this time, I don't know if any of y'all ever played Foursquare.
I'm trying to remember what it is.
This game was like totally lame, but it was so cool. Like all the cool kids were doing it.
yeah.
Right, like in 6th grade, like we're pretty old. We're
Yeah,
too
that's
old
pretty
to be
old.
playing this
Right.
game. Like Foursquare, so it's like you play on the concrete, and so they paint like a big square, and then you divide it into 4 mini squares.
Right.
And so you take like a kickball is what it was.
Okay.
And so basically you're trying to hit it into somebody's square and then have it bounce out.
Oh.
Did you ever play that? And so you'd
yeah.
like, smack it and spike it and everything. Like try to fake people out.
Again, I was mostly by myself, but I did play it a few times.
Well, but this was in school,
right.
like recess
Right.
in 6th grade.
Right.
I'm playing Foursquare, and I know that somebody was trying to hit the ball out in my square. So I bounced in, and I turned around to reach and grab it to bring it in, and I ended up tripping, and I landed. My knee landed on a rock,
Oh
not a smooth rock,
no.
a jagged
Oh no.
rock.
Probably a rock I would have collected. I collected rocks.
No, it was an ugly rock.
Really?
Yeah, like like if you're walking into I don't know, like a dentist's office or something, and
Yeah.
there's like a bed of rocks outside.
Yeah.
It was like one of those.
Oh.
And my knee landed on it. So I landed on it, and I like shouted and was screaming. I couldn't walk because of the pain. So
Oh my gosh.
they ended I don't remember who it was, but people helped me up, and they got me like to a bench. And so then they called the nurse, and the nurse came, and they like brought a golf cart down. And so they got me on the golf cart and took me up to the nurse's office.
This is at your school?
Yeah, this is
You
this
had
is my
golf
school.
carts at your school?
Oh yeah. Oh, the campus is huge though, because there's like a football field,
Yeah.
and the campus is divided, and because it's a kindergarten through
That's
12th
true.
grade.
Yeah.
So it's
right.
pretty big, and it's all outside.
Mine started at 9th grade.
Exactly.
So it wasn't that big.
Yeah, so it was pretty big. So they brought a golf cart down. They put me on the golf cart. They took me up to the nurse's office. I don't remember much about what was said, but
Yeah.
I remember they got me in the nurse's office, and they immediately called my mom, and I had to wait for my mom to come because our house was about 45 minutes away from the school. So I'm
right.
waiting. I know my mom sped there because I don't know what the nurse told my mom, but she made her way to the school to pick me up. So she picked me up. We went straight to the emergency room, and I swear to God, I don't know exactly how long it was, but I'm pretty sure we waited in the emergency room for about 2 hours.
Yeah. That sounds right.
And what I failed to mention to you before is I have a huge gash in my knee about an inch long.
Oh my gosh.
So like if you looked in there, you could almost see my kneecap.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. Huh.
Yeah, no, disgusting. So anyways, 2 hours later, we finally get into the ER, and they gave me a little bit of medicine, but they didn't knock me out or anything.
Yeah.
They had to sterilize the wound, which hurt like a very bad word.
Yeah.
And then
I
proceeded
imagine.
to give me stitches, and I still have the scar. You see it right there?
Oh
That's the stuff, and
yeah.
it's still tender too. But yeah,
Oh my
like
gosh.
like an inch
Wow.
from a rock playing Foursquare.
Jeez. Children's
sixth grade.
games were dangerous when
Yeah.
we grew up. Now they're all on, iPhones
Yep.
playing Apple Arcade, which again, you should get because it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But back then, we had to create our own fun with our physical bodies.
Yes, we did.
And we hurt ourselves.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah.
hard work,
it was.
but it was totally worth it because it was really fun.
And now we have these stories.
Yeah. And they were fun.
So much fun.
Thank you guys for listening to this podcast. We've had a great time on this episode talking about all the ways in which we've hurt ourselves. Make sure you download the Anchor app because we want to hear the ways that you've injured yourselves terribly.
Yes,
Or
please.
you can just say hello to us or ask us a question. We want to hear from you. So get the Anchor app and leave us a voice message.
Yeah. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram at The Little Things Podcast. We also have a Facebook page that we started.
Yes.
So if you're watching this on Facebook page or YouTube, thank you. We ask that you like this video, share it to your friends, leave a comment down below telling us what you think. If you're listening, we really appreciate you. Make sure to share this podcast with anyone you think might like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're going to plan to be sharing this podcast or posting this podcast every week on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday we plan to upload an episode of The Little Things. Like you said, follow us because you don't want to miss an episode because we have some good things coming up.
Oh, yeah. This is like premium content.
It's premium content, bro. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and make sure to find ways to enjoy the little things in your life.
Amen. See
Bye.
you next time.